part of that question would be who or which candidate would you say makes the best use of the new technologies?
The first part of the question was,
to
do voters or candidates make better use of the new technology?
I would sort of answer in a couple of different ways. I think it has more transformed the individual voter's capabilities to impact an election. Because prior to the internet, it would have been very difficult if I was a individual person interested in Nebraska or Wisconsin or Vermont, where I'm from, and I wanted to get involved in a presidential election, and I wasn't in one of the early voting states. It would have been very difficult for me to have a major impact. I might have been able to organize my block, my neighborhood. I might have been able to flyer a couple of the towns around me, but that I couldn't really have much more of an impact beyond my own community. But now we see people like this kid at the University of Missouri who is organizing massive coast-to-coast groups that rival the organization and the capabilities of any of the candidates themselves. On the candidate side, as I said, I think that the most transforming thing for them is that they don't have to worry about sort of getting their message through in a 10-second or 15-second soundbite. To a large extent, that's still how most of American voters process the news, but I think that we're going to see that shift. Barack Obama gave a big speech 2 weeks ago at Google about sort of his tech policy and his innovation policy, and you can go online and watch the entire 64-minute speech, which is sort of a radical transformation of the way that we have come to see politics, because basically since the end of the whistle-stop tours, it was very hard as an individual voter to see an entire presidential speech. That just wasn't an option outside of C-SPAN. To the question of the sort of which candidates are using it best this year, I think that I would draw the distinction that the supporters are the ones who are using it best. In most cases, Ron Paul being sort of the great example there, that his campaign is doing almost nothing online, but that his supporters are really very active online. On the Democratic side, I think that Barack Obama has been doing probably the best job. But what is, I think, particularly interesting, and one of the reasons that I believe that this is sort of the first campaign of a new era, is it's the first time where we have had a campaign where all of the candidates are campaigning online, and there's not just sort of an internet candidate like there was Howard Dean in 2004, or John McCain and Bill Bradley in 2000. I can point to great things that Hillary Clinton is doing online, that Joe Biden is doing online, Chris Dodd is doing online, that John Edwards is doing online, that they sort of all have sort of active, vibrant, exciting organizations on the web.